SeeJeanty back at it again. And yes, it is the SeeJeanty live show with your one and true, one and only. Toi. SeeJeanty, Chris Jeanty here. As folks come inside and all, then of course, excuse-moi. I know, of course, the aim was to be at 10 a.m., but I mean, I always preface it as 10 a.m. ish. And of course, this show is recorded, and so those who can't catch the show live or catch the entirety uh, are going to be able to watch it further at their leisure. Um, uh, um, you know, at their leisure. So come on in, do drop a chat, do drop a what's up in the chat. This is a conversation we're having here. We are trying to keep folks in the know in terms of what's going on in the country. And we have a real special show today. We're going to be doing something a little different this time as well, compared to what we usually do. In addition to, we have a really special guest, a real special guest. Cannot wait to have her on. Really excited about the work she's doing. So just stay tuned for that special guest, surprise guest towards the end. Per usual, just allow folks to come in and get themselves settled. And myself, it's a one man show here, so there's some things I have to do on my end. You know how we usually do it. So bear with me. We'll be back in a minute or two. I don't know, 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes tops, and we'll start the show. All right. Yes. Oh, there we go. We're on mute. There we go. Let me say that again. Welcome back. We're streaming on all the platforms: Facebook. Uh, we are on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on all of them, right? Instagram. So what's up? Do drop a good morning, a hello for those who are watching. Let me know where you're watching from. I never really asked that. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always a pleasure to be on the live. It's always a pleasure to say what's up. Those who are veterans of the live, you guys know it's a show where it's just you and I. We get to chat, especially nowadays, since those who really know what SeeJeanty is about. I miss not being not doing what I usually done, which is going to the provinces, going to different cities. I mean, we have to get back to that. I'm working hard right now so I can get through what I'm doing right now so we can get back to the fun stuff. Right. And what I'm doing right now, of course, is stateside pushing hyper distribution. It's a company that, we are doing something that needs to be done. We're taking Haitian products, right? We're taking casa, we're taking our honey, we're taking our coffee, we're taking our black castor oil, and we're getting them to the markets here, right? And right now we're based out of South Florida. Just to start, we've shown a lot of progress within that short amount of time we've been doing this. And of course, the goal is to um, get to every place where there's Haitians, stateside and in the world, and then everywhere else. I will say that, then everywhere else, right? And so we're pushing that, and I'm there. I'm here pushing it. You know, the infrastructure I have in Haiti. But with any new venture, you have to be hands on. You have to be here to make sure things get done, executed the way it needs to be executed, which is cause, of course, for me not to be producing the content that I know you guys are demanding, aching for, hungering for. I'm sorry, but nonetheless, SeeJeanty, we're still pushing. We have a great media team with some incredible folks that are helping still produce incredible content. I know just yesterday we dropped the FUBAR episode where we had a chance to speak with an incredible entrepreneur and businesswoman, Jeanty, who owns FUBAR, and her sister. And we just had a conversation. We had a conversation, and you had a chance to see the club, see how it's changed, right? And we're still producing. We're still producing incredible content. Again, hats off to my team, and that's a big thing too. There isn't a lack of content when it comes to Haiti. There isn't. I'll just be totally honest with you. There is a lot of great folks who've done great things, but the reality is they do these great things for a short period of time, right? They exist for about, I don't know, a year or so, and then that's it. What happens is they end up going back to America typically, because at the end of the day, we live in a world where you got to make money. Yeah, you gotta support yourself and or your family and your kids and et cetera. And unless you break through on YouTube, and typically the way you break through on YouTube isn't by just sticking to one place, right? You have incredible folks like one of the top Haitian YouTubers in a true sense of YouTuber, um, is probably Ace Live, right? I've been watching his content recently. He's in Venezuela, for example, and he consistently gets incredible buku, stupid views, 100,000 plus. But note, he doesn't just stick to Haiti. He goes to Venezuela, goes to Colombia, goes to a lot of different places and picks up a lot of those viewerships, right? A lot of those Colombians and Venezuelans and Cubans and all those folks who want to see their people. They'll see randomly get that video and they subscribe, and that's typically the formula, truly. And so what I'm trying to do with SeeJeanty, right, is really build an infrastructure, really build a true media company that exists, whether or not I'm here or not, that's constantly producing specific in Haiti content, right? If it's not in Haiti, if it's not about Haiti, I'm not interested. I'll be totally honest with you, right? Because it's never been about the money for me. It's never been it. I mean, I could have been a millionaire 2-3 times over. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying, I have the business acumen to be successful in whatever lane I choose to be in. But for me, I just can't get out of bed if Haiti isn't part of that formula. If the primary ingredient in what I'm doing, Haiti isn't a big chunk of it, I'm just not interested, right? And so that's the idea of ultimately why the media company is going to keep pushing. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And I am tremendously humble to everyone who keeps watching, everyone who keeps, who stay subscribed, who they anticipate our weekly episodes. We've been pretty consistent. Every week we have a new episode. Who say, "Oh man, I haven't watched my weekly SeeJeanty episode yet. Let me tune in." I am tremendously humbled, tremendously appreciative of everyone who consistently. And one thing I can say for sure is, our views are consistent, right? We have consistent about 2-3K, which is, listen, I remember when I first started this channel and we had, 100, 200 views. I get 300 views, I'm happy. I'm like, oh, yo, we got a hot episode, 300 views, son. What? But, on the flip side, right? Like I have videos that are pushing, like the Jock Mel video. I think it's just shy of 100K. Like I haven't checked yet. I was like just like a few hundred views shy of 100K, right? And so we've had those moments where we sort of crossed over to that viral sensation, doing what we love to do, doing what I love to do, which is show a deeper, more complex, full picture of our country. We never try to be naive about what's going on in the country, but at the same time too, just as every other country, there is things that should encourage us to not give up, right? There should be things to encourage us to understand, like every other country, there are lanes to move forward and cut forward and find success, right? So again, just appreciative of you guys, appreciative of those, despite the fact I'm not on camera per se and taking the tour and holding your hand along it. You guys are still watching and still supporting the team and doing everything, sharing the videos. So again, I just wanted to take a moment to say again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being subscribed. Right. So just a few things I want to just hit off, rattle off at the top of the hour. Comme toujours, une raison que nous pas fait ça en créole, c'est parce que les barres côté que Haïti a présenté dans un langage qui est international. J'en ai fait là. Et il y a plus Canel, a plus de monde qui vraiment construit, qui vraiment bail des images, des nouvelles en créole jour à jour. Et chaque jour, il y a plusieurs Canel. Bon, il va payer, mais je vais répéter non. Et moi, je suis sûr que c'est vraiment sur ce monde qui était connecté, était branché sur tout bail Haïti. Bon, on connaît déjà, mais demander tête tout, était honnête avec vraiment ça va demander. Avec demander qui côté on peut joindre des informations dans l'autre langage qui est vraiment informative, qui est vraiment cadre tête faite, qui est vraiment concentré sur cadre sans émotion sur nouvelle. Mais Sushita ou vraiment penser sur non pas même penser et chercher même et chercher et tout là où joindre lui vaut le pour moi parce que m'a toujours comme toujours dit l'aime joindre un autre monde un autre canal qui a fait bail en anglais sur Haïti avec même niveau de passion même niveau de imagerie que moi frère Pam c'est Pam grand monde tonton je suis bien content pour me faire une mission totalement en créole parce que je suis assez chance pour Québec créole la red parce que quand on vit pays ça on c'est même pas même anglais même espagnol moi m'a commencé à dégager m'a bien communiquer avec on dans ligne côté mia m'a assez chance pour me rester femme de créole là et je suis bien content de me faire chaque une fois par mois par samedi qui me laguer comme langage pour 3 ans je bien content mais parce que ça va exister de l'autre côté, voilà, mais nous et nous laguer. So, c'est ça lié, et toujours bien un monde grand monde dans le comment show, et dit, ah bon, soit on bail soit Haïti coup de cœur là. Bon, j'aime dire là, et c'est parce que nous baguer bail ça yo, qui concentre sur tout. D'ailleurs, faut qu'on ait qu'il y a des haïtiens qui base langage c'est anglais, c'est bien bas là. Mais j'aime dire là, comme nous un avion qui parle entre Haïti, regarde il y a janvier, il y a juillet, il y a décembre, il y a pas bon, il y a pas bon, il y a demi moun qui dans l'avion ça, c'est moun qui pas haïtien. OK? Mais moi j'étais côté de nouvelles, côté de information de nous. C'est pas nous même qui a bayoul côté de joindre li. Je non mais l'autre monde CNN tout le monde ça yo qui bon yo pas un intérêt pour montrer une réalité, une vérité de nous. So, c'est la raison nous faisons l'anglais et à finir un jour, bon, et la venir qui et nous pas besoin de faire parce que la vie l'autre monde. Ça m'attend nous. Mon qui a plein, fait le pour moi. Fait le pour moi, pour tout construire net sur là. Okay. So just a little disclaimer that we do this in English because it's really important that everyone understands what's happening in the country and what's possible and not just the Haitians who are in the stateside, um, but also those who are not Haitian. Who again, I get on a plane. Half of the airplane is not Haitian. Where are they getting their information? Where are they getting their news? Where are they getting their imagery? And remember, they're impacting. They're doing things in this country. Either missionary work, spending their dollars. Um, very small percentage is actually investing. But if they're not doing it from the perspective of really understanding our country, they're doing more harm than good, and that's one reason why, especially since I have the same folks who are telling me to speak Creole. And that's the last time they invested or spent $1 in the country. you crickets, right? So just wanted to hit that up. Per usual, do check out. Of course, we do have a book out. The book is 101 Ways to Make Money in Haiti: Lucrative Business Ideas, Insightful Success Stories, and Interesting Business Opportunities for Visionary Entrepreneurs. And I wrote that book because, again, one of my most common DMs is, Chris, I have a business idea. Chris, we're trying to do something in Haiti. Love some guidance. We're about to do a bakery or something. And where do I listen? Go check out the book. I wrote it all one time parce que vraiment occupé. I got in DM avec chaque monde. Can't be in DMs with everybody. And so wrote the book. Do check it out. And the proceeds go to support SeeJeanty Media. Every single dollar that I receive from KDP Amazon goes to supporting the salaries, the equipment, the capacity of SeeJeanty Media. I have not made a personal single dollar, despite the fact that I labored over that book for a year and a half and interviewed countless people and put those anecdotes, those tips, those guides in there. Haven't personally benefited. It's about keeping what we got going on here alive and thinking of different revenue streams to allow that to happen. And that book is there for that. So again, if you're a supporter of what we got going on here, do check out the book. For those who remember, a time when SeeJeanty was doing daily shows and want a place to always be able to connect with the community, do check out the Facebook group, SeeJeanty Action Group. I just dropped the link. For those who are watching Instagram, I'm dropping the links on YouTube and Facebook. We're streaming right now. So feel free, and if you want to see what the links I'm seeing, I'm dropping, you can go take a look there. But I'll just look for it as I'm describing to you where it is. SeeJeanty Action Group. Just type it just the way it's like it sounds. one word, and you'll be in a community of folks who are always looking for other YouTubers, other images, other posts, and we're constantly sharing in an ecosystem, to really encourage us about ourselves. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about showing and reposting positive imagery. It's really about understanding we are what we consume, right? And if we consume the worst possible things about ourselves and our country, uh, can you not be surprised that we ourselves are our worst selves and our country is in a state it is, right? Also, check out the private WhatsApp group. That's probably the best way to contribute and participate. It's basically the private Patreon of SeeJeanty. It's a community of folks in that private WhatsApp channel that are always supporting each other, always supporting um, uh, uh, what their individual processes and things are. Just think of it. It's borderline a mastermind group, right? Because there is an entry fee, which shows that you ain't about that blah blah blah, right? You're not here just to take up space, in that contribution, which is $20 a month, by the way. Not a big pocket breaking amount, goes to support SeeJeanty Media and the work we're doing. Right? That's always doesn't. I don't personally benefit. We have a team, driver, videographer, cameraman. Those proceeds go to support the content and allow us to continue to do weekly content, right? But most importantly, it gets you in a community, truly private community, where again each person is doing their own particular thing, but we're here to support our network, our connections, our knowledge. And heck, I'm in there. A lot of folks who are DMing me right now and expecting me to respond. Join the group. Join the group. When you're part of the group, I know you're genuinely supporting what we have going on here, and I make myself totally available. Ask anyone in the group, they'll know. I make myself totally available for questions, whatever's going on. So just join the group. It's real simple. Join the group, private WhatsApp group. I dropped the link um, in the channel. It's SeeJeanty.com / private WhatsApp group. WhatsApps, WhatsApp group. I love this. I'm waiting for you guys in there. Love for you to have a couple more members. We have push about 30 plus members right now. Love to see if we can for the end of the year get to 40 or 50. It would be great, right? And of course, I gotta drop the website of hyperdistribution.com. I just dropped it, hyperdistribution.com. We're doing great stuff in the space of bringing products out of the country. It's not just about our imagery; it's about our products. And we're putting 40 plus stores now in South Florida. We're eyeing the northern part of the state now. We're eyeing Atlanta. We're eyeing Indiana. We're eyeing a lot of different places. Certainly, I think by the end of the year we should débrancher to another state in much more full time capacity. I'm really excited to the amount of work we've put together. And the coolest thing again is this company, this Delaware incorporated company, is supported by investors of the Haitian diaspora. Over six figures have invested in this organization, and we're doing great things. We're putting our money where our mouth is, and really impacting and bringing products out the country, exporting, and I'm leading the charge. And it's humbling for two reasons. Humbling because the progress we made in such a short time hasn't been easy. I can tell you, has not been easy. A lot of stressful nights. But nonetheless, the symbolism of what this company is going to be about once we get on the other side, and I can share the story of what we're always criticized not doing. What are we always criticized not doing, right? We don't invest together. We don't put our money together. We don't work together, right? That's not true, right? And I can't wait in a year, 2 years down the line, I can really pound my chest in terms of what hyper distribution has done and what we as a community have done and can do when we put this together. And then most importantly, open the playbook so others can duplicate the process, right? It's not about just me being a monopoly. I want other folks doing this, because that's the only way our country improves, is when there's countless other people doing this. Just like there's countless people importing into the country, we need countless people exporting out, right? I do see a question saying, hey, talk about the process of exporting from Haiti. Actually, we've done that actually. some of our early episodes. Oh my God, I'd have to take a look. What I would suggest is go to SeeJeanty, YouTube SeeJeanty, and just look for our live shows. I have a playlist actually for our live shows and our earlier. I want to say probably December. I literally broke down the process of exporting, like down to the T, what you need, how to, the different was it license? How do you call it? How do you call it? FUTO? It's a permit, I guess, um, that you need to export out, from A to Z. We broke that down. So do check that out. We've talked about it. All right. So yeah, that's the rundown. Just the top of hour stuff. Before we get into the show, I just want to say a quick what's up to a lot of folks here. Sadrach Dorsey, what's up, man? Happy to have you. That's not change. Love the name. Thank you very much. you know, you know. Bob Dole, hello. We got George Joffrey P. We got Teddy Claremont in the house. What's up? What's up, brother? Happy to see you. Daniel Dodard, a true MVP of old head of the channel. Always happy. Thank you for watching the FUBAR episode. Thank you. Let's see. We got Bounce Bougie 11. What's up, man? We got an old head in here. Happy to have you in the channel today. Don St. Mark, what's up? What's up? How are you, man? We got Joe Dagger. What's up? What's up? All right. And I will give Instagram some love. We got Laja Zoed. What's up? We got La Chronicles. What's up? A lot of folks in here. We got Mac Mill. What's up? What's up? We got Street Productions. What is up? Right. And I think I got Ricky Wayne. What's going on? Happy to have you guys here today. All right. So today we're gonna jump right into it. We got something real special. I want to do, right, which is, so the episode before the FUBAR was what? It was an episode where I talked about a big project I've been a part of, still a part of today, but was especially a part of it in 2021, where I was the country director of an investment group that is investing in Haiti. Excuse me. Investing by creating companies with the purpose of providing jobs, right? And these companies, and the cool thing is, whether we're going to watch the video together, that's what's different. When actually I'm going to do I'm going to play the video and I'll do commentary. I'm going to do commentary, right? But I just want to give context, right? I want to give some context, right? Is that maybe I didn't really get a chance to get deep into in the video, which is the businesses that were decided upon, which was a commercial bakery and a chicken farm, was 100% come about from the grassroots. It wasn't someone from outside coming in and saying, "Oh, here's what I think Haiti needs. Here's what I think Haiti should have," right? These investors leveraged these young adults. When I say young adults, these are adults that they just graduated college, maybe had a year, 2 years of working. Those who could find work working, but young adults, we're talking maybe 23, 24, 23, young adults. They did a competition, right, that had basically 14, ultimately selected to be part of the program. And then it was whittled down to 10. There was actually 100. It started with 100, whittled down to 14. And then it was a final cutoff at 10. The final 3 or 4 selected were going to be the first, to be part of the second round. There's going to be multiple editions of this, by the way. And so 10 were selected. And of that 10, they split into 3 groups. And now each were involved in generating ideas of what could work in the country. And altogether, there was at least 100 different ideas generated. Right, we're talking ideas. Every business in the book. I mean, literally, I felt as if these guys, if I was around, my experience writing a book would have been easier. My book, 100 Ways to Make Money in Haiti. If I was around with these guys from the very beginning, I'm like, man, I would have the book would have wrote itself because they literally deep dived on 100 plus different ideas. Right, we're talking from juice businesses, from cereal businesses, making cereal, from different agricultural projects to gas stations, different retail opportunities, franchises. I mean, they ran the gamut in terms of the different ideas that could be done in Haiti. And slowly they whittled it down to probably around, 10 to 7. And then they finally whittled it down more to what was ultimately selected was 3. Now, the 3 that were selected were the chicken farm, as you know, the bakery, and actually an ice block business, right? 3 were selected. Now, selecting doesn't mean they were going to move forward. And then they had to really deep dive, as any proper business should do, in terms of business plan, financial projections, market study, and fleshing out the demand that existed in the market and how much vis-a-vis competition that may existed. For example, a chicken farm, you understand your competitors are what? Your competitors are going to be smaller producers of chickens. There's little farmers that produce a handful of chickens, right? The Dominican Republic, where chickens come in mass, even though they're not supposed to, but they still do. And of course, America. A lot of chickens come in through America. How are they coming in? They're coming in dead and cut, pre-cut meat, and coming into Haiti. And so those are your competitors. And so it's understanding that market as a whole, and then seeing, okay, if this company comes to existence, where are we going to be? Where's our niche? Trying to quantify how much of the market is available and how much money you can make in that space that exists, right? Now they were stuck there, right, for over a year and a half. They were stuck in this area because that level of analysis. And by the way, these young adults were extremely smart, extremely talented. Because they came from a school. Jacmel has some of the best school systems in Haiti, and then on top of that, the program, the same investors that started this program, actually, they built those schools that they went through, and on top of that, paid their college. Free ride. These young adults had a free ride through college. Right, some of the best schools. You can talk about University of Quisqueya, University of Notre Dame in Haiti, Port-au-Prince University as well, and then graduated. And most of them actually did get some sort of work. It may not necessarily be in their domains, but some sort of work. Because again, when you go through this level of schooling, you're gonna probably find something, or at least have networked with people at some point that could get you something, right? But still, it's not quality, and the vast majority of folks still didn't get any, right? And so I say all this to make sure I understand these are very intelligent young adults, right? But there's still something that they couldn't provide sophisticated American investors, right? And I say sophisticated, I'm not understand, some of the investors that were part of this, they were billionaires. You understand? Like, I'm not like, there's people on this investment group that they own national teams. Like, you understand? Like, the symbol of being part of the top percent of the top percent is flexing that you own a national sports team, right? And we have people on this investment group that own sports teams. Do you understand the type of sophistication when you reach that level of, and because they got there because they've owned several businesses that IPO'd on the national stock market, right, multiple times to make multiple millions to the billions, right? And to do that multiple times, you're a sophisticated entrepreneur and really a sophisticated investor who needs real data presented in a way that is um, appropriate for you to decide on how you're going to do things, if you're going to do things, and how you're going to do things. And that's what I mean. That's hard to find in Haiti. Fortunately for me, I come from a background of data analytics. I come from a background before moving to Haiti and doing everything you see me doing now, working corporate. I mean, I've worked for some of the largest corporations in America, right? Probably maybe the biggest I have is Carnival Cruise Lines, right? It's a multi-billion-dollar company housed here out of South Florida. I worked for them for a good chunk of time, and presenting to executive level exactly the sort of information needed using hard data, hard analysis, and presenting in a way that they can digest, right? And so I was in a unique position to assist, a very unique position to assist because of my background. And of course, the fact that I've been in entrepreneurship in Haiti, I've been in staffing in Haiti, I still have my outsourcing company. We're still, working with clients across the world. In fact, we just had a contract that we picked up for SEO web developers. They're developing content and managing SEO websites for very large media companies in America. So we still have that going on, and we had it going on. I had it going on then, and so I was in a unique position to not only function as a human resource manager, but in addition to provide the documentation they needed. And plus, on top, when I heard the mission, when I heard what these investors were doing, right? It's when I see what these investors are doing, I'm like, I have to get in on this. I have to assist. I have to provide my time, my energy to make sure this is as successful as possible, right? And the long of it is me participating. We were able to get concrete plan forward. They were able to decide on business plan, what business they were going to do, and they ultimately decided actually on all three. The third one ultimately didn't happen just because there was another. We knew about it, but didn't know the extent of which this other new company that was trying to do ice blocks were trying to get in the game, and there just wasn't a capable way to compete at that time. Right, we're going to keep that idea on the shelf, and ironically, that competitor, has yet to launch. Between Matissa and just the general insecurity in Haiti, they never launched, which is unfortunate because we would have launched still and been a player, right? So it's a bit unfortunate that they did pull back from that particular idea. In fact, I was very excited about that idea. But in any case, we were able to get those two businesses up and going. And at which point, I still probably would have been involved with them, but hyper distribution, became my priority, right? Which was my venture. And again, what was cool was, I want to make it clear, those investors didn't invest in hyper distribution. Hyper distribution was a singularly Haitian diaspora entity, and we raised over 6 figures worth of investment capital. In fact, we're still raising. I'm about to close. I'm at a spot where that's it. We have a final round that we're just signing contracts, and we're done. I'm not interested in giving up any more ownership. Not 1 more percent, not even 0.5%. We're keeping this within the initial groups of folks who took that initial risk off the business idea and concept. And I want to award them by making them wildly rich. That's my goal, wildly rich in this endeavor, and serve as an example to see what we can do in the future with other future investors and other folks who are doing similar things. We can help them out. It's a long-term plan, but so we're gonna watch that, and then after watching that, we're gonna invite our guest on the show. We're gonna have a long conversation, additionally, about entrepreneurship and finding their lane in Haiti. So that's the plan for the show. Val Chung said something really important. He said, "You're absolutely correct, but you're kind of all over the place." And I love that comment because um, uh, I've never accepted uh, putting a fence around what I'm doing, right? Especially as being someone who sees there's tremendous opportunity in every corner, right? I'm a big believer of going into a space, and the reason why I can do so much, understand, is because I am not doing so much. I'm a big believer of going to a space, building infrastructure around a space, building processes ar- in, as the core of it, and then allowing it to function independently of you. And that's a big thing. A lot of folks who've never really been entrepreneurial, um, and that's a big thing I've noticed very early on, where people and their ego get in front of the mission of whatever it is, right? It becomes, oh, this is mine. I have to be. Listen, I've stepped back from SeeJeanty Media. I mean, the thing has my name in it, but I've stepped back and I've given my media team a incredible lot more autonomy to do what they do. And everything that I've done, I mentioned my staffing company. That's run autonomously per the folks I've hired and I've trained. My outsourcing company runs autonomously of me because of who I've hired and who I've trained and the competence I've given them. Right. My distribution company is 50% is 50% run autonomous because the Haiti side operation. The reason why I'm in the States and can be in the States is because the Haiti side operation is run autonomously of me. I've hired incredible talent, incredible smart, incredible motivated folks who get what we're trying to do. They can get the direction and allow me to be focused on this side. And so I guess that's the short of it. I just wanted to take some time to understand. Yeah, certainly, if I was trying to hire somebody like me, I'd be like, you're doing a lot. But understand how, ask yourself, the real question is not the comments I'm doing, how am I doing so much? And the reason I'm doing so much is that's the secret sauce of me, is that I am a creator of infrastructure and business process that can operate independently of me. And that's truly the secret sauce of any successful serial entrepreneur is someone who can build processes, step back, let that process do its thing, and collect money. That's what it is, guys. But great comment on that, and again, I don't hide any of what I'm doing. It's about getting other folks to be able to do the same thing. So, all right, let's jump into um, watching this episode. Okay, give me let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Mm-mm-mm. No, oh, I pulled the wrong screen. Let's do that again. Okay, there it is. All right, boom. And let's play it. And if you guys, let me know if you guys can hear it or not. SeeJeanty back at it again, and it's an incredible pleasure to have this episode and show you some things that I've been working on in the background outside of media
and bringing it to media to inspire, to encourage, and to empower. Truly, the reason why SeeJeanty Media exists, as anyone who's been following me for a long time,
If you find exercise hard,
Oh.
you need one of these.
It's an actual YouTube video, guys. There's gonna be commercial breaks. I am mad at it. That's what also a big part of what pays the bills is that.
have a mission to come to Haiti and impact and provide employment, provide jobs, and provide a way forward. And the media exists really to show you uh, that it's possible. That not only am I doing it, there's other people doing it, and you can do it too. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. In mid 2020, I got contacted through my staffing company by a representative of a Haiti mission that was looking to impact the different.
By the way, the school you're gonna see here that I mentioned that school these investors are built schools previously, right? And so that what you're gonna be seeing as I talk uh, is the actual school. It's not just a random school. It's the actual school that was built, and the funnel of young adults are going through, and ultimately we're building more businesses. That's what you're looking at here.
Way they had already built a few different schools in Jacmel, and they basically saw that a lot of their students were returning without uh, employment. They from you know, kindergarten through primary, through secondary, all the way through college. There was a program that allowed students from Jacmel in the provinces of Jacmel to get their education, but they kept returning and not having work. And so it became obvious to those a part of this mission to say, okay, we need to think about how we're doing things differently. And the way that I must say I identify with, there needs to be a business component, an economic component, a self empowerment component to making this work, to making the goodness of what is trying to be done work. So the folks who are part of the Haiti mission are business people, and they said, you know what, if jobs is what we need, jobs is what we're going to create. So they went about creating ventures that are going to grow and allow a certain funnel to hopefully occur to employ this upcoming generation. And they started with two flagship businesses. The first being a bakery, and the second being a chicken farm, right? Where chickens will be raised.
I'm gonna pause there and just to kind of really hammer that point home, in the sense that I just always felt that that was lacking when you have these big-hearted people who want to go to Haiti and, oh, we want to put a school, we want to help the youth and X, Y, and Z, which is, yes, they need help. Haiti is a big elephant. A lot of hands are needed to push the country for a lot of you can a guy who's holding the leg of the elephant can assume that's all the elephant, but the elephant's so large, you're still holding an elephant, right? It should be done, but the root of the problem is jobs. It's economic opportunity, um, and any plan of attack that doesn't incorporate that economic element is set to fail. Just understand that. That's number one. But number two, the fact that you have one, and it took these guys who are not of the culture. I say that just over 20 plus years they've been in Jacmel. 20 plus years they've been in Jacmel, building schools, taking young folks through college and seeing it for themselves, seeing that all their work they're doing means nothing, right? Unless unless there is a very clear, very focused economic component to it, which is why they're doing what they're doing. So I want to key on it because if you're watching this and you're open hearted and you're trying to, really move Haiti forward, you have a passion for it, you're really frustrated about the imagery and what's happening in the country, but you want to help. You want to help the kids. You want to help the poorest of the poor. Understand, if there isn't a very clear economic component part of your plan, it's not going to work, right? And that's what they saw, and that's why they said, okay, all right, you know what, the charity, the social aspect just isn't accomplishing the mission that we need. We're business people. Let's create businesses. Hello, and thus here we are. Okay.
And so to be eaten, right? And I got on board really because they needed someone who understood really both cultures. There was a team on the ground already of the students who had gone through and went through this program, this almost boot camp MBA of sorts. But the investors who were American, had this difficulty to sort of move forward. They were stuck because of the cultural and language differences that, as you can imagine, certainly exist in a context like this. And on top of that, they were working remote, given the difficulties happening in Haiti. It wasn't necessarily security-wise, wasn't the most prudent time for folks coming into the country. It's in 2020, and quite frankly, remains that way at the time of me recording this. And so they need someone on the ground, and hearing about their project, I actually recruited for some of their positions through my staffing company. And when I saw what this was, the impact that was happening, I said, you know what, let's do it. I quit everything I was doing. I was doing some consulting on the side, and I even put more of my staff in my staffing company in leadership roles, so I could focus on coming over and being their director, right, general director, country director, in this incredible opportunity to create businesses and impact, right? And so for all of 2021, I was in Jacmel, creating businesses. In fact, I ran into a few of my fans while in Jacmel. What's up to those who I met? What's up? You know who you are. And a lot of them didn't know what I was doing, but now you know. I was here helping create these ventures, helping them build out financials, build out projections, do the door-to-door work of building clientele, and being a mentor to a lot of these young adults that were already a part of this venture. And so the whole point of this video really is to talk about that work that is ongoing, to show these businesses that are on the ground and impacting, show some of the members of those businesses. They're the ones who are showing you these businesses. And finally, I just want you to remind you guys to subscribe to this channel, like the video, share the video. I promise you it's going to be an inspiring one.
Every day I make around $10,000.
Yeah, that's the ad. But so just a little about deposit too. So yeah, that's shot, by the way, is the shot of the chicken farm aerial. So that was the background as I was building up to, and the next scenes are going to be the actual the young adults I mentioned. You'll see two of them on screen. One is one of the leader, those in more of a leadership role for chicken farm, and then the next one after that is going to be who was promoted to general manager for the bread operation. And I know these two young men very well, very capable, very able. And again, they're from Jacmel. That's another thing I don't think I mentioned. Again, they are from Jacmel. They're Jacmelians, right? And the fact that you have these extremely smart, extremely passionate young Haitians who, quite frankly, if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for these investors and these businesses that they've been working on since inception up until now, if it wasn't for that, chances are, they'd be part of the brain drain. They would have left Haiti. They would have maybe found a way to Dominican Republic. They would have used some family in America. But the fact that they're providing, you see the way they speak. Right? And you can see that these folks would be successful anywhere. And the fact that they're staying in the country to provide their capacities for the country, that alone makes this a success story. That alone, before any of these businesses make $1, the fact that we're keeping talent, right? that is a success story. So I just wanted to key in on that.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Alors, je dis à ce grand plaisir pour que nous venions participer avec nous ici à Nantes, dans l'ouverture SeeJeanty. Non pas moi, c'est Edgar Hippolyte, moi, c'est une membre de l'équipe SeeJeanty pour travailler au niveau de logistique. Alors, je dis à ce un plaisir pour nous, pour que nous venions faire de l'ouverture. Un projet que nous avons parlé depuis longtemps qui c'est ferme agricole. Donc, je dis, nous lancer première grande activité, nous, qui c'est une activité de vente, puisque nous sommes en production et première production, nous, les lancer. Donc, dans cette activité, ça, nous allons faire nous vivre différentes réalisations, nous, que ce soit bâtiment d'élevage, nous, pour nous qui sont dans le bâtiment, donc pour ça, pour nous avoir une idée globale de l'activité. Pour que nous ayons un bâtiment d'élevage, un ensemble de travail, de structure qui est fait, et travail de sécurité, là, nous avons un espace clôture, non? OK? Mais pour que nous conservions différents matériels et manger l'autre matériel que nous utilisons, nous avons construit un dépôt que nous avons construit avant, parce que c'est lui-même qui réceptionne tout ça que nous avons besoin pour faire travailler sur ferme-là. Et puis tout espace, ça, c'est clôture-là, parce que on connaît loi fond ferme, pour clôturer, pour sécuriser lui. Nous avons tout espace, ça, jusqu'à monter là, c'est clôture-là. Okay? Maintenant, tout terrain, ça, c'est l'autre espace que nous gagnons, que nous allons faire l'autre construction là-dedans. Nous avons un prochain bâtiment d'élevage que nous allons faire dans l'espace là, parce que la capacité d'installation nous connaît à c'est 4000 poules, mais pour nous agrandir par rapport avec deux demandes qui sont sur le marché, nous allons construire un deuxième bâtiment d'élevage de même capacité avec le premier bâtiment. Alors là, c'est le bâtiment d'élevage. C'est là que nous mettons poules. Dans nos cas remarqué, le bâtiment est divisé en plusieurs sections. Et comme bâtiment, nous avons fait par rapport avec structure terrain, de façon pour tout le monde répondre. Et comme bâtiment, c'est norme de construction et élevage qui fait comme ça. Donc là, nous avons cette première section bâtiment. Première section, ça, nous avons le poule là-dedans, poule ça, non, une semaine encore que là-bas. OK? Ça, c'était un approvisionnement que nous avons fait en date 9 janvier. Maintenant, l'après-midi, tout le matériel ça que nous avons remarqué qui est dedans, nous avons mangeoire et abreuvoir. Et matériel rouge, ça, que pour lui abreuvoir, c'est les abreuvoirs là, qui est alimenté avec le château de qui est en haut. Et puis, ça qui est en jaune et rouge, c'est mangeoire. Donc, pour lui, là, nous avons une capacité de 1000 poules en dans section ça. Maintenant, il y a l'autre section encore, et que nous avons remarqué, tuile ça, donc c'est tuile de sécurité qui permet que pour lui, les en dedans, le pas été fermé, mais il y a un vent qui est entré sous l'eau, il y a l'air qui est entré sous l'eau parce que ça a tous les côtés dans l'élevage là. Nous avons remarqué que pour là tout, pour là, c'est parce que les nous avons préparé pour nous recevoir pour ça, nous avons préparé un espace qui est pour signer. Maintenant, le fait que pour nous arriver dans le niveau mature, nous retirons partie de la barrière là. Maintenant, nous quitter l'espace là seulement pour empêcher que trop l'air, trop vent par rentrer en dedans.
Sorry, guys, I was on mute. Darn it. What I was saying was, just to piggyback on what he's saying in this part right here, was these chicken farms, they're able to hold up to 3,000 to 4,000 chickens, right? And so what he's saying was we truncate the chicken coop space, and basically they're raising multiple cycles within the same space, right? Just want to make sure you understand that they're doing it because that chicken coop can hold much more. Just want to, because literally, just so you guys understand, that chicken farm will, at full capacity, be able to produce 10,000 chickens per cycle, right? Right now, it's producing 1,000 chickens per cycle. So you can see it's producing at the 10th of its capacity right now. Again, because they're trying to learn and understand the business, not just from theory, but actually by doing it. But I just wanted to jump in there and just, drive that point have that understanding home.
La section ça li gen pour commencer vendre à partir de week-end prochain puisque week-end là fait 45 jours. Et pour les deux chers, comme nous connaissons déjà, c'est 45 jours qui niveau croissance optimale. Arrivé 45 jours, le ça tout pour ça, on va prendre dans espace ça encore, nous va bon. Et le ça n'a préparé espace ça que les vides sanitaires. N'a nettoyer, retirer litière ça yo, maintenant désinfecter et pour que nous fassions un nouveau approvisionnement pour l'autre stock pour encore. Comme nous avons regardé la première section, là nous avons deuxième section bâtiment, mais là nous avons 500 poules. Alors ça c'était le premier approvisionnement. Nous. Maintenant, poule ça, c'est avec nous fait grande ouverture là parce qu'on a période de vente. Et bien, une fois que poule ça fin vendre à partir de semaine ça, nous allons faire même ça nous allons faire pour première section vide sanitaire. Là ça nous allons retirer litière ça nous changer et que nous allons désinfecter espace ça. Maintenant là pour l'autre approvisionnement encore. Bon, maintenant nous attaquer troisième section. Une différence que nous avons remarqué c'est que dans la troisième section, poule yo plus petit par rapport avec deux premières sections. Et bien qui ça qui fait ça? Jeanty dit dans le commencement, nous faisons production par échelonnage. Comment production est? Chaque 2 semaines, nous approvisionnons 1100%. Alors, première étape, là, c'était 1100, mais pour nous éviter peut-être que nous gagnons dans le transport, maintenant nous faisons production à 1100. Maintenant, pour ça, c'est pour qui est venu pratiquement 3 semaines après pour qui est dans la section 2. Maintenant, nous faisons stratégie ça, c'est pour nous permettre que clients par exemple garantir poule et que nous-mêmes tout en tant que institution en tant qu'entreprise qui fournit poule sur le marché, nous voulons assurer clients qu'il y a toujours une poule disponible dans SeeJeanty. Parce que un objectif fondamental de SeeJeanty, c'est satisfaire besoin de population dans ça qui a rapport avec demande en poule qui est sur le marché.
So that's a wrap for the chicken farm side. I just want to say one thing, and that is there is an incredible talent. I'll say his name, Ralph Kirby-Jean-Louis, who was the agronomist and the head chicken. He came with because I hired him initially. That's how I got engaged in the project, and he had his own chicken farm. Young guy, not young guy, but maybe late 20s, and had a chicken farm he was operating before coming and joining the project. And basically, it was his experience that really put that team where it is. I came in and provided some degree of supervision, but that team almost functioned independently from the beginning because of this young man, because of Ralph. Regrettably, Ralph isn't a part of that program anymore. Right? He's fine. He's healthy. So there's nothing dire that happened to him. But I just want to give Ralph his flowers. I want to give Ralph his appreciation for impacting and really putting his energy and essence into that farm. He wasn't, on camera. Certainly, if he was there, I would have certainly made sure he said something, and I would have personally shot him out. But he wasn't there. But I do want to use this live right now to shout him out because he's someone who is one of those rare people who can just about match my energy, who can match my energy, match my passion, match my capacity when it comes to just doing the work, and a big part of why the chicken farm is what you saw, guys, which is truly a professionally run chicken farm, is because of the infrastructure and the processes he put in place, right? And so, hats off to him. And if he's watching this right now, I appreciate you, Ralph. You did a great job, and thank you, sir. Okay. And of course, I gotta shout out to the whole entire team as well. There's about 4 members, young adults, 4 members who are part of that, and I gotta shout them out as well. Edzer, Michelange, Nadia, and Dieu Sauveur. You guys, if you're watching this, again, hats off. You did a fantastic job of, taking what you were given and then executing to your best of your capacity. So again, always understand when I talk about infrastructure and processes, really it's people. It's people, right? And no leader can lead without ensuring that, the folks who built it up aren't acknowledged, aren't taken care of, And I'm a big believer in that. So that's why I just certainly use that time to say what say that for the chicken farm. Okay.
Bienvenue dans la boulangerie Pimpam. Alors, c'est une boulangerie dans deux projets. Nous deux projets que nous là, et peut-être pour moi montrer nous qui j'en process, comment nous faisons pain ici. On allait nous aller ensemble pour nous voir comment nous faisons ça. Pour nous commencer une journée de travail, immédiatement, les arrivées, tout employé sur place, nous faisons tout préparatif pour nous commencer une journée de travail là. Pour commencer dans le processus pour nous faire pain. Nous aller dans les côté de farine, nous prenons monter et puis farine. Nous avons un pétrin qui a une capacité de 2 sacs. Chaque nappe fait.
Now, this is the videographer in me. It's the video's dark. The space doesn't have too much good lighting, regrettably. I got to work. One of the first things I do is I'm going to do a round of investment in equipment in the next month or 2 or 3 months. Depending on some things stabilize on my side. And we're going to get some better lighting. I just want to quickly toss that out. This is the editor's cut. I noticed it, and it will be fixed in future upcoming episodes.
Nous faisons pas deux. Ensuite, nous faisons ajout manteca, sucre, sel, et puis bien calculé, bien contrôlé, bien pesé. Et puis nous mettons là-dedans avec de manière très prudente pour éviter que nous fassions tout ça au très propre pour que nous ayons un bon pain propre pour manger. Donc toute préparation c'est là dans le mélange là. Si vous voulez un pain bien goût, c'est dans le mélange là avec les passer à la salle de fermentation. Il prend environ 20 à 25 minutes pour les mixer, pour tout mélange au café et bien fait. En après ça, nous allons un petit temps pour reposer dans le pétrin. L'elfine sorti dans le pétrin, il y a prendre bout par bout pour mettre sous chitéa, mais la capacité que chitéa a compressé. Donc nous connaissons dans le pétrin, nous quitter un petit temps pour reposer. Donc l'air reposer, l'air vient rentrer dans le pâte là. Donc pour l'élévation, l'air permet le pâte là monter. Monter à l'air qui vient rentrer là-dedans. Donc, nous passons par chitéa pour nous retirer l'air là, pour nous retirer l'air qui est dans la pâte là. Pour nous faire compression, on a fait ça pour la passer sous table d'opération. Donc là, nous passons sous table d'opération, côté tout, messieurs, dames, il y a les pâtes là sorties sous chitéa, pour bailler pâte la forme, pour faire unité, pour nous faire pain.
By the way, let me say something for a person or two in the comments. Like, the only critique I have is they ain't washing they're using their hands. There's no gloves. Listen, there's a station right next to, and I should have probably had them do something right in the beginning that was very clear that they're washing their hands, and that's my fault, right? But there's a station they thoroughly. I'm talking like a surgeon, thoroughly wash their hands in soap and water, wash it with distilled water, and then they get to work, right? The issue with the gloves, first off, a lot of these Haitians who've been doing this type of work for a long time, understand this bakery, we actually purchased this bakery. That's another thing I don't think I've mentioned yet. This bakery was purchased, right? And a lot of the staff came with it, and of course we reinvested and put a lot of equipment, a lot of different things in there, and actually completely rehabbing the space as well, right? Putting some real capital in there to drastically reduce production. I'm talking about that space is going to produce 4 to 5 times more bread than it produced at the time we bought it. Okay, so to be clear, that's number one. But because they prefer to really, to really capture, and again, this is something, Haitians who've been doing this for a long time, they say it, I'm just repeating what they say. They really need to feel the dough, feel and make sure that it's at the right consistency, that they're used to, and they can't do that with gloves in their hands, right? And so you know, we don't want to mess that process up, but nonetheless, you know, I just want to just tell you guys again, they wash their hands. Their hands are washed. It's a very, you know, I can't speak to other bakeries in Haiti, but believe me, any bakery that I will be a part of are extremely sanitary, extremely. Okay.
Pour nous mettre sur le plateau. Donc chaque plateau ça, pour type ça, c'est pain vente, pour type ça, il prend 50 unités. Chaque plateau prend 50 unités. Y compris pain carré et pain long, chaque plateau prend 50 unités. Donc environ pour chaque sac farine, si chaque plateau prend 50 unités, chaque sac de farine, bah, environ 50 plateaux aussi. Donc, qui nous capables de faire calcul pour nous voir combien, quantité nous capables de produire pour journée. Sorti sous ta opération, on a une salle de fermentation. Dans la salle de fermentation, et plateau, alors, pain passé environ, avec toute forme que est sur le baillot, il passe environ 30 à 45 minutes, dépendamment des pains. Il passe environ 30 à 45 minutes en dedans pour pain enlever. Pour les normal. Mais le système qui est un système il fait pour nous. Il fait que un système que vous mettez côté une chaudière avec courant et de l'eau à bouillir et puis en ébullition et puis vapeur d'eau et qui suffit pour les lever les PPA. Immédiatement il fait lever les normal, il aller dans four. Four les bon degré, les arriver dans degré pour le mettre là, il ouvrir et puis vous mettez pain. Alors, chaque clé où vous mettez, il faut 15 plateaux. Donc, il a pris 15 plateaux. Mais nous avons l'autre gros fou encore, qui a pris 30 plateaux à la fois. Là, c'est là, les clients sont dehors. Donc, là, ils viennent acheter pain. Donc, le matin, si je vote noyer, le matin, mon vient acheter vraiment pour si mon l'école, nous avons environ 10 à 15 plateaux chaque matin. Mais les après-midi, nous avons 50 plateaux, 60 plateaux, et même plus. Surtout, il y a des périodes même, nous n'avons pas de pain vraiment pour nous vendre. Surtout les après-midi. Il y a des périodes virtuelles, par exemple, période 14 février qui se passe là, et nous n'avons pas de pain vraiment pour nous vendre dans les après-midi. Et puis chaque jour marché, exemple, le mardi, mercredi, vendredi, samedi, camion nous, moto nous, grand pain pour y aller vendre dans le marché qui loin. Par exemple, Pérédo, Okaï, Lisac, Ridoré, la montagne, et puis découser tout ça, nous vendons pain là, machine nous côté pain, nous allons livrer dans le marché ça.
And that's really the core of the episode there. You saw there at the end was the big old delivery moto taxi truck thing. And they're not kidding, by the way. He was saying how quickly they sell out, right? And they're not kidding. I mean, they sell out really quick, especially when they go to the markets. And so what they think they'll do, they produce over overabundance because there's in Haiti there's a market days. You know, one area has a market day, another area has a market day, another area has a market day, and so we have a schedule of where these small provincial, hyper provincial towns are, and then we go with our bread and sell there. And literally, the moment we pull up, so many merchants and just people wanting to buy bread just swarm the truck and just buy. I mean, literally within 30 minutes of arriving, we're sold out. I mean, we literally will bring in 100 pans of bread, 150 pans of bread and sell out, right? Probably 2-3 sacks of, in other words, 2-3 sacks of 100-pound flour worth of bread will be sold out in 30 minutes, right? So I share that to say the market, for this is incredible. As much as you may be seeing and hearing about Haiti being this and that, and the folks who Haiti being poor and the opportunities, I'm talking daily. the our companies are selling out. Even the chicken farm, within a few days of their cycle being complete, they said their chickens are sold out, right? So there's incredible opportunity. I don't know. um, I understand the ethos of being careful when you invest and the difficulties of getting a business startup. Trust me, it's not easy, but it's certainly worth it. And I'm seeing that. I've seen that myself because of my businesses, but re-seeing it now in these different businesses that I'm a part of. There's just incredible opportunity that exists, and so I'm just wanted to really take this morning, this live show, and you know spend time really showing you what I was a part of, what I am still a part of on their strategic advisory board now. And so again, I'm full time on my business, and um, ensuring that you guys appreciate that. Um, when I've expressed in the past, I am not a media personality. A lot of you guys expect me to say, Chris, you have to produce content. We want to see more stuff, and I want to show you more stuff. But I'm not a media personality, right? I always preface it. I'm an entrepreneur first. I'm a businessman first. That so happens to do media because it's necessary to control our image. And being part of that, right? A chicken farm that's producing 10,000 chickens a cycle for the local Southeast area, a bread, commercial bread operation that's producing, they're going to be producing upwards of 15 sacks of flour per day. And 6 sacks of flour, like literally 100 pounds of flour per day is what their goal, before end of the year, is. So these aren't small businesses, and to see them evolve and to be a part of it, I don't think Harvard University could have given me the sort of business experience and credibility that these opportunities, not only my own, but these opportunities have done. And I can tell you, as being someone, I know a lot of you guys are watching me and watching what I've done, and it's a lot, in this time since I decided to move to Haiti and do what I've done. I want you guys to understand that you guys have the power to do it too. Like that's just the biggest thing I want to walk away before I change topic and get our incredible guest on. And by the way, incredible guest, if you're listening, let me know you're there. She's in our lobby. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, good. Just warming up. I just want to make sure you guys understand that I remember when I decided to leave to come to Haiti. Literally, it was just, I was going back and forth doing my research, getting things ready, but after about 4 or 5 months, that I just snapped. I turned to my wife, who was my girlfriend at that point. I said, "Listen, I'm done. I'm moving to Haiti. Like this week, I sold all my stuff, and took my savings. I was full time in it too. Even though later on I did end up getting remote consulting and but I was full time doing nothing else but my media and my businesses, and starting with nothing. I mean, I literally, there'd be so many days where I had, especially towards the tail end where my savings were getting low, and I wanted to change how I was doing my staffing company, given some issues that I were having with how I saw some domestic companies were treating their people, and really feeling like I didn't have nothing, right? But keeping at it, staying focused, right? And until I am where I am right now, it's been a journey, humbling journey, and knowing the amount of folks I've impacted thus far. I've always said, a big part of why I do what I do is because I just know I'm going to be dead at some point. We all die, right? And some of us are fortunate, to when we die, we have some time to think about what's happening. And I always say on my deathbed, as I'm thinking about, okay, I'm about to enter this next phase of, I don't know, whatever it is, how many Haitians did I help, right? How many Haitians have I employed? How many Haitians and their families were in a better place because I existed, and my energy, my efforts assisted them in a real way, not just charity, not just giving free stuff, but in a way that is multi-generational. Like they had jobs, they took that income, they took their kids to school. How did I impact that, right? And I can tell you, I've only, it's 2017, it's 2022 now. It has been a lot of time. I tell you, if God were to take me away from all you lovely people today, I would walk in the gates of heaven saying, you know what, I've done a lot, and I've done a lot that I've wanted to do, and I'm satisfied with the life I've lived thus far. And I share all this because I know I've met so many Haitians on this side, on the Haitian American side, who they've all expressed to me they want the same feeling. They want the same desire that their life is spent impacting and assisting their Haitian people, right? And my advice to you is do what I did. Do it. Do it. Just do it. You don't need a lot of money, but don't sit on the sidelines just hoping and thinking and waiting and making excuses. Do it smartly, just like I did. I took time, did research, but decide you're going to do it and then truly do it. And I promise you, the universe will take care of you. God will take care of you. What you're trying to do will be taken care of. Because there has to be a way for Haiti to improve, right? And believe it or not, you're part of that story. You're part of that journey. You're part of that success. Your individual part will actually allow it to happen. But it starts with you. It starts with believing that you can and doing it. And I hope that SeeJeanty Media, again, the point of SeeJeanty Media is to show what's possible, not just for me, but from other people. I hope that SeeJeanty Media provides that spark of a conduit, because I always known, I'll spare you that, it's a long story of this, but I'll spare you it, but I just known through experiences younger, a lot of things I haven't done because I didn't see people like me, who look like me, who come from the place I came from, doing it. And so that's why SeeJeanty Media exists, to serve as that thing that allows people to see, oh, wow, it's being done. You know what? I was thinking about doing it. Let me actually do it. And that's how I know, the impact I'm doing individually, it's great, but the butterfly effect and the virality of what I'm trying to do will actually happen. And Haiti indeed will be on a path forward because of it. But it won't, if you watching don't decide to actually pull the trigger. So please, if you don't take anything from this live today, take this. You can do it. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. And let's impact Haiti together. Okay? All right. So let's transition to the next part of the show. I have an incredible guest. She is someone who, when folks say, you're doing a lot, I only hang out with people who are doing a lot. That's my circle, right? And she's done incredible things here, holding official office in the North Miami area. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure she'll correct me. In addition to being very active in Haiti, in the Croix-de-Bouquet area for a while. Now she's re-engaged in Cap Haitien. She has a recycling company. She's taking trash and transforming it to gold. And what's so cool about what she's doing, you check this out, guys. What she's doing that's so cool is she's literally grabbing plastics, transforming it, and exporting it out of Haiti. That's right. She's part of that infrastructure, doing business the right way, taking stuff in the country and taking it out. And what's so cool about it too is she's taking the stuff we don't want. The stuff as you're driving around and you're like, oh my God, it's trash. I should do something about it. Guess what? while you were thinking about doing something about it, she actually has been doing something about it. So, without further ado, I welcome to the show Vanessa Pierre of Eco Renewal Solutions. Vanessa, comment nous y est? How are you?
Hello, qui Jean-Yé, mon femme, merci parce que vous invitez me là jeudi. I'm so excited to be on your platform, and I'm ready to have this conversation with you. So thank you so very much. I really appreciate it.
Listen, I'm happy that you're here. I feel as if we should be siblings. I mean, we're such on that same wavelength, right? Let me ask you a question. I bet, because I believe in this stuff. Maybe I'm going to be wrong this time. Who knows? This may shape my entire belief. But let me see something. What is your astrology sign?
A Scorpio.
Scorpio. Interesting. I don't know too many Scorpios. Okay, all right. I'll put you in that.
Everybody that I've met have said Scorpios are cool people. So don't mess it up.
You're going to be Virgo vibes. So
yes, Virgos and Scorpios. Yes.
There you go. But so you're doing an incredible amount, same energy, same wavelength. So let me take a step back and please run through the resume, the gamut, the experiences, and explain folks who Vanessa Pierre is. And then after that, we'll talk about specifically Eco Renewals. But let folks know who Vanessa Pierre is.
So Vanessa Pierre is a first-generation American, born and raised in Miami, specifically North Miami. If you know anything about North Miami, you know it's where the largest concentrations of Haitians are outside of Haiti. We used to live in Little Haiti, but like the whole moving on up, we went from Little Haiti to North Miami, so we did the little Jefferson's moving on up thing. So got my bachelor's degree from Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach. Got my master's from Nova in Fort Lauderdale, and got my doctoral from Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. My background is education. So education was never my passion, but I was coming up on that 4th year. So I did the 5-year bachelor's degree program, right? So I was on overtime, and my parents were like, "Fais vite à l'école. You're gonna be the oldest kid at the school. You're gonna be everybody's grandparents. Fais vite." So I was just like, all right, let me just take a major, and I ran with it for a couple of years, right? So I was an educator for that many years. I was appointed to the Parks and Recreation Commission, Quality Education Board, ran for office for the city of North Miami in 2019, District 1, and I'm running again next year.
Vote for it, guys. If you're in your district, vote for it.
Yes, if you're in my district, vote for me. Forbes Top 30 Under 30 nominee for the class of 2017. Academics Academy, I was executive director, so I used to, so we had culture tech labs where we taught the students how to fly drones, how to record, because I used to be in media production back in school. I used to be in band. I played the alto saxophone. I used to be in media production, so I know how to record and edit and all that. So with the culture tech labs, we used to teach the kids how to fly drones with the videos, edit the videos, record, edit, and then post it online, because I saw that like the kids spend most of their time on TikTok and YouTube, and they're the consumers, and I wanted them to not be so much consumers, but to actually own and create and create the content so that they can monetize it, right?
Yeah.
So what else have I done? I mean, I've done so much that I had an after-school program with the city of North Miami. Thomas Jefferson Middle, so we were in different schools and providing youth enrichment programs throughout the city of North Miami. So I've been doing a little bit, just a
little bit. now, I love the energy, I love the dynamism. So now when it comes to Haiti, because it sounds like for sure you had a good amount of time stateside. You were in Little Haiti, then North Miami. Went to school over here. One of my brothers went to Bethune-Cookman, so I know Daytona Beach very well. I used to visit all the time. He was in band, by the way, too, for Bethune-Cookman. Nice. So Morgan State, and you went to different universities. Mm-hmm. So how did the interaction with Haiti? Were your parents always taking you to Haiti? So tell me about that, the engagement in Haiti throughout your life.
Okay, so I went to Haiti for the first time when I was 4 years old, and I still remember. I know people were 4 years old, but I remember. But then from there to 2017, didn't go at all. So, we always hear stories about people's parents telling them don't go. But like my parents are very like my parents, they have their life here, but they're very engaged in Haiti. Like they're always going, like every 6 months, they're always going. So they were never like the types that were like, Pajamale, because my parents are like, they came here, but then they're also very woke too. Cause they're like, listen, this is not the end all be all because how you say it in Creole, like Sigonkui, Sigonkui, they always have somewhere to go, whatever, right? So they built their homes, they bought properties, they bought real estate out there. And they're not just like buying real estate and leaving it for whoever. No, like they're actively engaged. So every time they would go to Haiti, they would never bring me though. So there's twofold. They're like, oh no, you're not old enough. And I remember like I went recently for the first time with my dad because I used to go with my mom. And then even at 30 years old, he's like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, Daddy, please. I'm an adult now. They don't see you as that. But so in 2017, my friend was like, hey, come to Haiti with me. Come to Haiti, we on vacation. So we went to Cameroon, and then we went to her family's place in Quadribuque, and we were just chilling, hanging out or whatever. And so we're on our way to Fort Jacques. And, me, still having this privileged American mindset. And I want to pause right quick because a lot of us feel like we're not privileged because we are the minority in America. But then when we get to outside nations, like when we travel, even if it's on vacation, we carry the Christopher Columbus mindset at least a little bit with us. Mm-hmm. And I want us to be cognizant of that privilege, right? So that privilege dawned on me when we were driving up the mountain to go to Fort Jacques. And I see the mashas on the side of the street selling their fruits, vegetables, and meats. And then just to the side of them, they just pushed off the waste, right? They just pile it over. And then you mete gallo out there. They put their stuff. And I'm in the car. I'm like, what are they doing? Isn't there a health department? This isn't safe. And I'm like, wait, hold up. I had to check myself. And I was like, all right, Vanessa, like, relax. But it was just the smell that was hitting me. And I was just like, something has to be wrong. So later on that night, when I got back inside, let me pause right there. Mm-hmm. When you have a smartphone and an internet connection, the world is literally at your fingertips. And this is why I get so upset at people who always find excuses for everything. Oh, I want to do this, but. I'm like, listen, I remember when I was in elementary school, I had to go to North Miami Library. I had to, not on the computer, I had to go through you had to open the little drawer, look for whatever you're looking for, take out the card, walk to the aisle, and then get the book, right? And then those books are going to be outdated. The encyclopedias will be outdated.
I remember that.
So, and it wasn't even that long ago, right? Because we're still young. So when people present themselves with all these problems, I'm like, listen, you have a smartphone. Information is updated by the minute, by the second. Use it. Don't use the internet to only go look at Zen, to go only look at Tripotai, to go only looking at Zen. Like, listen, it's funny for 5 minutes, but when you realize what you're trading off, which is your life, like, and your future, you shouldn't be gambling like that. So back to the story, right? So with the power of a cell phone, an iPhone, and I had a good Verizon connection, internet connection, like speeds, lightning speed connection, internet connection. I literally Googled these words. I put, what happens to our trash when we throw it away? Because remember, at that moment, I don't know anything about waste management. I don't know anything about recycling because my background is education only, right? So I just Googled that. And then, so this was November 2017 that this happened. November 2017. So I'm reading articles, and then I find out that the world, United States, Canada, South America, Europe, they all export our trash to China. So I'm like, what you mean? Like, yeah. So like where I live in my neighborhood, every Tuesday and Thursday, Waste Pro comes to pick up our trash. Wednesday, they pick up the recycling. And on Friday, they pick up the bulk trash. These companies, they take it off of our hands, right? Well, first of all, they charge us to pick up our trash, right? And then they go around, they turn around, they put in the landfill, they separate it, they segregate it, they clean it, sometimes we clean it, and then they put it on 40-foot containers, headed straight to China. And they get paid per metric ton. Big money. Waste management industry is $1 trillion industry. Trillion, right? So at that moment, I'm like, oh, so they sell our trash? And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me see how I can get in this. But China stopped accepting imports from the world January 2018. Mind you, I'm finding out this information November 2017. I'm like, oh man, I thought I had to come up, right? But then at that same moment, I found out that it was only China that stopped importations, but other countries were still accepting. So from that moment on, Eco Renew Solutions was born. Again, the power of internet. I was researching what countries import, what companies import, and what they do with it. So with the plastic and with the aluminum that we throw away, it becomes our furniture, it becomes our clothes, it becomes our medical equipment, right? So like if you're going in to get a mammogram, the machine that they're using, that's all coated in plastic, right? Different types of plastic. If you need a CT, if you need a CAT scan, that's all plastic. That's all plastic. So it's integrated in every single part of our laptops, the casings for that, all plastic. So from that moment on, Eco Renew Solutions was born, and I have not turned back yet.
So it sounds like so your parents, they themselves had this passion for Haiti that certainly they were able to bleed onto you. And then during a trip on your own, there's a very clear problem. But unlike most Haitians who just say, "Oh, it's the government, it's the politics, and it's America," and you're like, "What can I do?" And you did something.
Yes.
Right.
I'm very solution oriented, and you said something before in your introduction about being on I don't think you used the word deathbed or like hospital bed, but I always say this: I never want to be on my deathbed thinking back to my youth and be like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Because honestly, it really is shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like when you take out it's the government, it's the this, it's gonna always be somebody. So it's either you want to do it or you don't. It's gonna always be somebody.
Yeah, and you got to get it done now. So on your trips, on those prior trips, like what I'm trying to understand is like, so you went there by yourself. When did you start going with your family? Perhaps like when did you start getting that family engagement? After you started going by yourself, or
no, not really. Because my parents were always going to Haiti. Like
with you though, like with along you.
I went one time when I was 4 years old, and then it went void. But they kept going. Like they were always in Haiti back and forth. They're like, "Oh, you're not ready yet. Pay up, whatever." They probably just want to have fun because my dad is back there all the time. But the first time I went with my dad was 2018.
Okay.
We went to Akil. We're from my dad's side of the family is from Akil du Nord, and then that's the first time 2018. But between that, I was going by myself all the time because.
How do you feel about that? I know they themselves were cool, but how do you feel about you going by yourself? They didn't even allow you to go.
Attention. It's always attention. But then like I have family that are from here that I go with, and they're like, okay, voyagez souli. And like the entire neighborhood in Akil du Nord is very small. My uncles live across the street. My uncle, like my other uncles, like they all built houses on the same street where they grew up. So like the whole family's on like the same block. Like all the big houses are our family. So I'm not really alone, but he still is like, he still has a little side eye. But I always say, listen, like I'm a world traveler. So even when I was I was going to I backpacked to Europe for like 3 months. Even when I went there, he's like, "Oh, Chabalish win Europe." I'm like, listen, I'm not staying in one place. Like the world is meant to be explored. And my family there, like my dad traveled the world before he came to America too, because he's always like, he liked to travel, he liked to do that, so he wanted to explore too. So I'm like, look, Daddy, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. He's like, oh, but I'm a man, it's safer for us, and I understand, and I definitely do agree with that. But if you think that America is the end all be all, then I'm sorry for you, buddy. I really am sorry, and this goes for everyone. Like backpack Europe for 3.5 months, backpack the east coast of Africa. The world is really, I know it sounds cliche about the world being your oyster, but like until you've actually explored, you can't say that you know yourself. Do you really? Have you really seen what they're all to offer? So I think that's kind of what made me not even scared to go into Haiti, because I'm like, listen, what I was doing as an educator, that was not the end all be all. It was not. I used to tell my students sometimes when I used to be like, do y'all know who I am? I said, I'm too fly for these guys. I'm too fly. And then they used to laugh. They're like, Miss P, you need to stop. But honestly, when you've seen the world, you know you deserve better. And I really think that if people were to explore more, they wouldn't be so scared about getting involved in Haiti. Yeah, Haiti has these little pockets of insecurity, but like until you've explored the world, you really don't have nothing to worry about going to Haiti. You don't.
As someone who I know you've traveled to a lot of different places in Haiti, which spot, I think I know your answer already, but which spot you would like the most, and explain to folks why is that spot so incredibly special?
The gun, no. Like, come on, why are you asking questions that you asked? The gun, no, like people. Let's not let the media, the Western media, just warp our perception of things, right? Because if we here living in America and we see even with the BLM protest and like how they were shifting the narrative, like if we can see how they're doing that, how could you not believe that they're doing that to other nations, to other places in the world? Do not believe what you see. Like when they broadcast, like the burning tires, you would think that's the entire country, but it's really not. It's a pocket, people. It's a pocket. The gun note is so beautiful. I'm not saying it's perfect, but like if it's as close as if it's the closest of what perfect could be, it's all subjective. But just the beauty, just the people.
So folks understand too. I know you mean OCOP.
Yeah, the gun note
like, around.
Yes, and the surrounding areas.
Fort Jacques.
Yes.
Is it Fort Jacques? No,
Fort Jacques. Yeah.
Fort Liberté.
Fort Liberté. Sorry, Fort Liberté. Cadras. Like when I tell you untapped beauty, untapped beauty, and it's like people there are so inviting and so like it's y'all
visit.
Now
let's talk about regular renewal. Now that's how it became. How many folks are currently working for it? Explain the business process. Explain how is that, where is it? Are you getting off the street? Like, do you have a team of folks who are themselves going out and getting it? Are you using independent contractors, like independent folks who are bringing to spraying that? And then ultimately how exactly you're getting it out the country and some of the places you're getting it to.
Okay, awesome. So we currently employ, about 50 people. And so it's a goulash of what you said, right? So we have employees, we have independent collectors, we have a little bit, and we use different collection methods, right? So let me explain all of that. So for people who are working with us, we have people who we call the engineers who work the appareil, who work the balers, right? So this is the business model, or this is how the process goes. We get plastic. I'll explain how we get plastic after, but we get plastic. We transport them to our facility. We have the people clean them. So like, let's say this is a bottle, or this is one, but pretend this is a plastic bottle. They'll take off the wrapper. So it depends on some buyers. They want you to take off the wrappers. They want you to take off the bottle cap and the little plastic ring around a plastic bottle. Some buyers want you to take it off. Some buyers don't. I have a buyer in Slovakia. He said, don't touch it. Don't do anything to it. If you want to throw a little glue on it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So it depends on how the buyer wants it. But for the most part, you remove all the wrapper, the small little plastic ring, and the bottle cap. Then the ladies clean them. But it's not like a deep clean. It's just weird, make sure, if it has any like weird smell, you may want to take it off, but it's not necessary, like a little dirt. Then the engineers then take it and then they put it in the baler. And then in the baler, it becomes a cube. They compress it, they put it in a cube, they tie it up, and then we stack it. So, but we don't just put all the plastic together, right? We have to segregate them by the type. So like your regular water bottles, that's PET, that's plastic number 1. We segregate by aluminum. The color for aluminum doesn't matter because all aluminum is the same. Like the Tampico bottles, that's HDPE. That's plastic number 2. We segregate those. The bidon rouge, like the yellow, not rouge, jaune. The yellow little canisters that you see go carrying around for like for gas. We collect those as well. And like the plastic for like what do you call those? Like the bokit, that's PP, that's Plastic number 5 has like a thicker consistency. That's what we make our medical equipment from. So we segregate those all by types and by colors. And then after you put them in the baler, then we stack them up by color and by type. And then when the container comes, then we'll stack it on the container, and then it gets exported off to the it gets sent to the port, and then it gets exported. Now, how do we collect it? What are our collection methods? So we have employees that have a quota to meet. They have a quota to meet every week, and we also have independent collectors. So the independent collectors can be people who do this as a career, and then they sell it to us. We weigh it right there in front of them, and then we pay them right there based off of how much they bring, the quantity. And we also have, we also accept plastic from the community, people from households, businesses. So if you go on our website, the first thing that pops up is Paye l'école avec plastique. And we also have one that says Paye bilu avec plastique. So let's say your school tuition is $200, right? So you would bring into us $300 worth of plastic. We weigh it and we pay you the equivalent of how much you brought in, and that way we're using plastic and recyclables as a form of currency. I would love for this to expand larger, but right now we're just doing a small sample group just to make sure that it runs efficiently. But EcoRenew's tagline is transforming garbage to gold. And we really mean transforming garbage to gold, because if you're driving throughout Haiti, or you're driving through OCAP, driving through anywhere, every time we have like these conversations, whether it be on Clubhouse, whether it be in group chats, or whether it be amongst our peers, we're always like, oh, Haiti sal. And it's like, okay, we have so much that we can do with it. We're not creating energy with it. We're not transforming it into clothing. We're not doing anything. So why not use this garbage that nobody wants, and why not let us leverage it as gold? And it doesn't have to be a gold bar per se, but we know that gold is a very valuable resource. So let's just transform what we don't want into something that we need, necessities in our everyday life.
I love it. And I remember when we first met ages ago, and just know, guys, like if someone DMs me or messages me, like, I'm sorry, my time is so limited, and it's so important that I connect and leverage that time with those who are moving forward. I look at the person's profile, like, okay, what's this person? Is this person a doer or a talker? And right away, I saw Vanessa was a doer, saw what she was doing, saw her website. I'm like, oh man, I made that time to connect, and haven't regretted it since. Now you mentioned Scandinavia. Slovakia. Okay, Slovakia. Yeah. So what are all the countries that your products are going towards? Like
Slovakia, Turkey, Spain, and we're gonna start Mexico really soon.
Nice.
We're gonna start
Now,
Mexico,
I guess don't give your secret sauce up, but is there like a one website, like a marketplace? Like, is it just people in the community in that world just kind of start talking to each other and sharing who's buying what? Like, how I know your initial was the internet, just did an internet search, but like nowadays, like, where are you?
So the thing about that is that when I started, I was just like Googling everything, right? But there is a marketplace. Like I found like there are a broker. There are brokers, but I'm always like, I don't like the whole pay the middleman concept. I don't know. Maybe I watch too much Power. Like I'm just
I'm not a broker fan either.
Right. I'm like, because I feel like I'm intelligent, and I'm just like, I don't need you to broker this deal. Like I can broker it. People sleep on Facebook groups. I think a lot of people are sleeping on like Facebook groups are very valuable, very, very, very valuable. There are communities in these groups that they're looking for items like these are the actual companies, not even the brokers. They're like, hey, we have this for sale. Hey, we have that for sale. So I was in Facebook groups for recycling, and then I found some people like that. And also another thing is that on Instagram, how I found a lot of connections is, so I was looking, so when I was building EcoRenew, I didn't necessarily, I know the proximity from Haiti to America is like only an hour flight, but I was looking at countries that mimicked the economy of Haiti. So yes, in proximity, America's right there, but America is already established. I'm looking at Nigeria. I'm looking at Ghana. I'm looking at countries that look like Haiti, specifically Nigeria, because they have an electricity problem. Majority of their electricity is given through generators. Their socioeconomic, even though it's not exact, but it's similar. So I found these companies on Instagram, DM'd them. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing. The founders reached out to me, and they actually were the ones that connect me to the buyers in Turkey, several buyers in Turkey, several buyers in India. So it really is leveraging the resources. I have a problem, right? So I have a problem when people are online all day just scrolling for fun.
Mm-hmm.
You don't got a business and you're not making money off of it. There's no reason why at the end of the week when Apple sends you that report when it says like your screen time, there's no reason why you need to be, if you're not a content creator, if you're not an influencer, you don't need to be scrolling Instagram 23 hours out of the 24. And you haven't cashed out. Now, if you haven't made a connection, if you haven't made like something to advance you, there's not that many memes in the world that's going to save you, right? So I was using me being on Instagram, like on my business page, everybody that I follow, they're in Nigeria, they're in Ghana, they're in Kenya, they're in my space, or they're in other countries that like, I'm like, okay, let me see what we can do together in this. So I think really leveraging our social media platforms aside from entertainment, because it's way too powerful for us to be sleeping on it. Way too powerful.
How, you got to bring this up. I know it's probably a fatiguing thing to bring up, but I bring it up really because I hope it's a source of encouragement for other women. But as a woman, talk to me about experience being an entrepreneur and being an entrepreneur in one of the most challenging places to be an entrepreneur in Haiti. Like that has to be complex right there, right? Being a female entrepreneur and particularly being one in Haiti where, let's be honest, I think there is a machoism that exists in Haiti's culture and in business ecosystem particularly. Break that down.
Okay. I think to start off, I think it's safe to it's good to say that I can't do everything by myself, and I think everyone you need to have a team with you, right? So I know my strengths. I just started learning how to speak good Creole in 2019 when I was running for office. So the Creole that you heard me speak a little bit in the beginning, I can even say that before 2019. So having the power of a team is very important. So I have an operations manager, and je fais main, I can trust him. Je fais main, I know that he can handle stuff, right? So where I may not put myself as the forefront in Haiti, I let him handle all that because like once they hear my thick accent, they're like, all right, we're gonna finesse. No, you're not. Talk to the boss man. Like he's the boss man, right? But just to get more in depth about that, even in America, like aside from doing business in Haiti, like for both of them, like they hear that I'm in waste management, they're like, you? I'm like, yeah. Like, no. Like, okay, so you're handling the business, but like, who's the owner? I'm like, it's me. Because like we don't really see women in industries like this. We don't see women in industries in construction, waste management, things like that. But to be honest with you, I think that it has its being a woman, it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. But I'm not someone to be, and I don't want to sound like, I don't have any problems. Maybe like tell me problem. Like I don't focus on problems. I'm just like, okay, I'm always on a pivot mindset. Like, because if I can't do it, somebody else gonna handle it for me. So, like, I get your question. Trust me, I get it. But of course, there's gonna be those comments like, "Oh no, are you sure you can handle that?" But sit aside, like, okay, sit back. Let me show you. Like, I'm not someone that really dwells on like, "Oh man, they're not letting me through the door." I'm like, "What door?" I didn't even realize there was a door that I had to open, like, because I'm walking straight through that. So. If there is any impediments that I do come across, I let my right hand person handle that because it's like I can't do everything, and you can't do everything, Chris. Any average person, we cannot accomplish it all. So I'm not gonna say it's because of a woman I couldn't do that. All right, if you want to put that barrier, don't worry, we got a man in place. So I'm not really here to change people's perception of being a woman, and like I'm not here because people are gonna have their ignorance, they're gonna have their preconceived notions. But you know what? I'm not letting that stop me because there's money to be made, there's business to be made. Like, I mean, there's business to handle. And if you don't want me to be the face, that's fine. I don't have to be the face of anything. I have an operations manager, 6'5", kind of buff, got a beard. So if you want a manly man, he's right there. Like it's pick your poison, you know. But at the end of the day, connecting with at least the international buyers, you know, even them, like even the ones in Europe, when I met with them with the company that's that we're starting a new partnership with, they're like, how old are you? They're like, is it? They're like, it's really you? I'm like, yes, it's me. And they're like, even they were intrigued. So I don't want to just like, you know, say it's just for Haiti, because even my partners in Europe, they're like, wow, like even they're intrigued, you know. So I think it's just, you know, people's mindset that are like, wow, a woman, you're young, you're doing this. But I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I embrace it because I think people are more, their defense is down. And you know what? When people that you're interacting with, when their defense is down and they're like, okay, you're friendly, you're nice, they're more willing to be accommodating in business. So that's why I said, like, I see it as a plus being a woman in business. So,
You know, I've you know, in my time, you know, connecting with entrepreneurs in Haiti, quite frankly, 8 out of 10 are women, and 8 out of 10 are doing incredible work, finding success. And so it's a non-factor. In fact, the question I have is why is there not more men in the space? Quite frankly, the women are certainly represented and are doing great work, and so hats off to that. And so I don't know, for some reason, despite the fact that what I've seen is that women are the majority in entrepreneurship in Haiti, I still feel there's a perception that they're not, you know, and maybe that's just the American weird thing that, you know, tries to put women aside in a box. But thankfully, you know, Haitian women aren't taking that. You know, Haitian women are taking charge and leading the forefront in battle. Meanwhile, you know, again, I don't know what Haitian men are doing, but you know, keep doing
it. You said it.
Keep doing it. So I'm interested to know what is the 10-year plan for Eco Renewal? Like, where do you see? But at the same time, too, while I ask you that, I'm asking you the other side of that, which is, you know, you have this concept of pivotableness. Maybe I'll give you that.
It's a word today.
Yeah. So explain your 10-year plan, but also then talk about how you truly believe in terms of the power of the pivot and being flexible in that plan.
Okay, let's start off with the power of the pivot so that we can go into the next one, right? Because they intertwine with one another. Yeah. I had to make a huge pivot last year, the end of last year, from Quadribuque to now Okap, the Okap area. So we all heard the news about the 17 missionaries that got kidnapped, and that happened in my neighborhood, in the neighborhood where Eco Renew Solutions was stationed. So my family is not from Quadribuque, but my mom purchased land. My parents buy land and real estate. So I just, you know, whatever's for my parents is for me. So I'm snatching it, right? So when that news broke out that they kidnapped the 17 missionaries, and it's not like it's the first kidnapping, but I was just like, all right, this one seems real. And then, you know, they put a price, 1 million, and I'm just like, listen, I don't even got $500,000 to give. So that power of the pivot, and I'm so glad you mentioned the pivot, because we as entrepreneurs have to know when to pivot. We cannot be married to one plan. Let me give you an example, right? It's not in Haiti. Look what's happening. If you follow the stock market, look what's happening with Netflix, right? So Netflix took out Blockbuster, right? And then Netflix, they came in with their plan and they have not changed since, because they were like, oh, we got it on lock.
Yeah,
we took Blockbuster out. We're good. So they're sitting on the throne. They're like, nobody's going to dethrone us.
They need us. We don't need them. Guess
exactly.
what?
They need
Guess
us.
What?
We don't have to change our methods. HBO Max came out with the app. Stars came out with the app. Disney Plus came out with the app. And Disney Plus took in Hulu, ESPN, and everything. So now
HBO Max, you know,
exactly. So now everybody's looking at Netflix,
Amazon Prime Video.
Amazon Prime, exactly. It's with exclusive drops. So now where Netflix thought they were good, they were we were the first, we were this and this and that. You can never be too comfortable. And if you look at the stock market, the Netflix is down even I think it's less than its all-time high. It's less than that, right? So I say that, I give that example to turn into what we're doing in Haiti, right? You cannot be married to one plan. You came into Haiti with one plan. I'm gonna do this, and it is what it is. You have to always be adaptable. If you're not willing to change or pivot, you are going to crash and burn. And it's not only in Haiti. This is in business in general, because you came into the game in 1999 and we're now in 2022 and you haven't changed up your game plan yet, I'm sorry to say, like my mom used to say, I'm sorry, Charlie. Like, I really am sorry, Charlie. Like, because if Netflix isn't going to change, if they're not going to change their pricing tier or something, these other apps are gonna come and pull the rug up under them. And if you ever seen The Color Purple, when Whoopi has she's like, until you do right by me. So that's kind of like the ghost of Blockbuster coming to bite Netflix in the behind, right? And that's just like businesses in Haiti. Like, if you don't have the power of pivot in you, you are going to crash and burn. You have to always be ready to do that pivot, right? Just like I used to play basketball. He's like, pivot, 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 pivot. I can hear my coach now, pivot, pivot. You got to know how to pivot. So we did that pivot from Kwadebuke to the Okap area, because we're like, listen, this isn't working for us right now. That doesn't mean we abandoned what we got going on in Kwadebuke. One just felt like my dad had land up there, so now we pivoted our operations, and even people, even the Okap area needs us. So I'm like, even better. So this is going to transition into our 10-year plan, right? So we were always going to go to the Okap area, but not that soon. But you gotta stay ready so that you don't have to get ready, right? Stay ready so you never have to be ready. So that kind of put a fire in my behind to be like, all right, Vanessa, you didn't want to do it now, but so let's do this. So again, I'm grateful to have my family that has my mom left a warehouse and my dad has land. So snatch that, put operations there so that we can start. So one of our partners actually wants to have Eco Renew Station as like the leading recycler in the Caribbean, and I'm on board with it, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, Haiti tellement sale, and it's like, it's not only Haiti. Like, a lot of people that are saying that you guys don't even travel. Like, there's a lot of other countries in the Caribbean, around the world, that are pis sale ki Haiti, right? But they're not plastering it online. They're not plastering it. So after we do the North, I do want to have one in the South, like the South. And then I also want to move into different countries in the Caribbean as well. And I just got, I'm in the Endeavor Labs in Miami, and we're working on trying to start a branch in Miami. The thing about Miami is that, in the United States, when you start a business, there is so much like red tape, like zoning. This can't be here. This can't be here. Like, you're dishing out 100K before you even bring in a penny. Whereas like in Haiti, yeah, of course, you have to, you do have some things that you have to handle beforehand, but like, you can kind of finesse your way. Like you can, you can do like the little Kim, like the little Kim dance, how she does that little thingy. Like you can kind of like maneuver without doing all those all at once. So especially if you have like, if you have land, if you have a building, you don't have to do everything like in there's not so much redlining, right? Because you have more opportunity in these emerging markets. Whereas if you do it in a nation that's already developed, you have this process that is very, very, very strict, and you have to abide by it. So for our 10-year plan, we want to open another one in the South, and hopefully in all the departments, but also become a leader in recycling and waste management in the Caribbean. So,
I love it. That's the goal. That's what you want to aim for. That's a real goal,
yes.
Real targetable and achievable.
Yes.
Right, knowing because it's you.
Yes, right.
Now I know we're a bit over time, but I want to understand. So folks, because a big thing what we do here is not just to share the stories, but allow folks to understand how they could do it too. And a big part of understanding how to do it too is the other side of entrepreneurship. For example, the mistakes. If you highlight one, maybe two, but certainly one mistake that you did while starting your venture or starting in the domain of recycling or waste management, and it took a while before you realized it was a mistake, and then now you quickly fixed it. Like what was that? And that shows hopefully that's because the lazy way to answer that is, I'll give a few tips in terms of starting a business. No. you learn the most through your mistakes, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
for those mistakes, and that should give people a much clearer way to be better in their
Some of the
business.
mistakes. I think spending money prematurely
Mhm,
would be a mistake,
mhm.
but a lesson. Wow. Because you know what? It's just like what you said. Like now I'm seeing it all as a lesson. So now my vision is blurred. I'm like, was it really a mistake? Because now I learned through it. Um, a mistake. I think spending money prematurely was a mistake, but
Is it premature? Do you mean like maybe you would have done a little more research before, or maybe spent a
okay, there
smaller
we go.
amount just to
Yes.
test a little more, and
Okay,
then
so let's
going all in?
say research. I'd have done more research on more things, right?
Okay.
Because there it goes. Thank you for helping me
Mhm.
like get that idea out. That's what I was trying to say. Yes. I'd have done more research on things before spending money, right? So on pile fois out there mundi oh m'le battre business Haiti. And then like 2 months, like a couple months later, like, oh, on moun voler l'argent. And I'm just like, well, do you even know what you're doing? Like, like, do you even know what business is before you say somebody stole your money or don't trust those people? So I think that doing doing way more research on like establishing a business in Haiti and the timeline. We have to be cognizant of the timeline. We can't hop on sunbiz.org, get it in 15 minutes, get our EIN in under 3 minutes.
No, you
Totally
can't. Believe
different.
me. I'm on a year and a half. Still
A
can't
year
get
and a
my
half
corporation.
and going plus. The minimum is a year and a half. Okay.
Man.
So doing more research was definitely a mistake that I think that I pride myself on being a master researcher. And even that surprised me because it's Haiti. So like you over here thinking that I know everything. I'm a research. All right, if you think you know everything, think again. So a mistake that I would do that I said that I did that I hope that no one else repeats. Do more research, and research is not only going online. It's coming. Put your feet on the ground. Put your feet on the ground. Look at the neighborhood. Talk to people in the neighborhood. See if it's a good neighborhood. Um, just because you have a good idea doesn't mean it's good for this area or it's good for right now. Oh, about your business. What business is it? Oh, I want to do X, Y, Z. Is that what the people need? Are they going to support it? Like, is this what they need, or is this what you want to do? So doing more research, I think, is a mistake that turned into a lesson that I think that other entrepreneurs can definitely learn from. So research through reading and actually getting on the ground.
I feel this entire conversation has been extremely illuminating, eye-opening. I think certainly for example, I said I did a story in my area where trash was a problem, but rather than just complain, because there's folks in this community where, because again, there's no government trash pickup, they would just toss it out in this local every field that was just became the trash dump, and it's right there. Folks would burn their trash, the fumes would blow back into the community. You know how toxic and absolutely dangerous that is. So seeing this, for a month too long, a few months, it's like this is something that has to be done. I'm not the type of person who just doesn't do anything. And so I spoke with my family, because my family lives nearby in that area too. And we said, we got to do something. We have to see what we can organize. And they agreed. And so we went into that community, or did a community round town hall of sorts. Invited folks to come to discuss this. A good amount of them actually came, discussed this issue, and came to an agreement where everyone would chip in what they could. Right. There was a company that would sell you bins with trash bags, and then you'd come and they'd come in and pick it up. And so my family, we had at least 2-3 houses there. And so what we did was, each of us paid for our own bin. But the way the cost structure is, us paying for our own bin allowed, just your own bin that you have at in front of your home, a little bin that fits like a few trash. But the way the price structure is, when you're able to get 3, you're able to get a big bin, like a bin like that usually sits behind a business, those big ones. And that bin was for the community. And so everyone would still chip in, right? Everyone would chip in what they could. We didn't have a hard minimum or anything. If you give a meal good, give a meal good. Give this a second good, and give this a second good. Whatever you can, just chip in something. That we assign someone to be the community receiver for that. And then those funds would be used first and foremost to pay someone to be responsible for not only maintaining that area, because trash is trash. Trash spills over, trash gets dirty. That person would clean the bins in this area, secure the bins too, to make sure that folks, it's not folks from outside the community who aren't paying, who are putting stuff in, because folks will do that, right? And we wouldn't mind if folks from outside the community over in the future, but for right now, we're just making sure this system works, right? And also that person would, depending on the situation of the person, because there's some elderly people, folks who aren't in necessarily a situation where they can bring their trash out. He goes and collects that trash and puts it there, right? And then whatever left over goes then also to, help support, the monthly subscription, right? And we've been doing this, for a couple months now. It's working greatly. Area is clean. There isn't burning trash every evening in the area like it used to be. We pay for the company to, initially we wanted the company to come by every 2 months, every 2 weeks, every 2 days a week. That's what I'm trying to say. But we actually, after we saw how quickly the trash is building up, we paid for them to come 3 times a week. And what I did is replicable by anyone. It's not just about going through and saying, oh my God, there's so much trash. Here's one way to do it. Because here's the thing, folks don't understand. There isn't a lack of private trash companies in Haiti. There's over 40 plus trash companies, right? So there's plenty of them. The issue is, in most countries, there is a component where the municipality would pay a trash company to come collect it, but the whole tax structure in Haiti just doesn't work. Pays their local tax. There isn't money for it, which is a big problem of it. There's no will on the side of the government, but then on this other side, there's just nobody paying their tax. Right. And so you don't have the state apparatus doing what it needs to. Because that's why there is an aspect of us as Haitian diaspora coming in. You can probably support half of that cost yourself, and the other half is where you get the community involvement, right? And of course, that next level is starting your own venture like you're doing with recycling, which is extremely laudable. I think I learned a lot. I want to thank you, Vanessa, for coming. I think a lot of the folks watching hopefully are encouraged and inspired by what you're doing and what you've done. The website, let me give it to me so I can go ahead. Actually, I think I know it's Eco Renewals. What is it? Eco Renewals?
EcoRenewSolutions.com. And while you're typing it out, I want to say something that you just. I want to point out something that you just said. Right? It's not even that much of a big contribution. And I was talking to my friend about this the other day because we went to the Bitcoin and the NFT conference, and people are always saying, "Oh, I want to help Haiti, but I just don't know how." Right? So, like things like this, like just like metoti man. What's meal good? Meal good is like $10, $20.
My component is $35.
Exactly.
I'm contributing. Ensure my community in Haiti is clean. $35.
Exactly. So people are always talking about, but I want to help Haiti, and it's like there are actionable things that you can do right now that can help contribute to these things. You don't have to do on gun shows because you're gonna have to establish a business, do this, do that, but help people who are already on the ground, like even contributing to SeeJeanty media, like so that he can push out this content, so that the first thing that we hear when we hear Haiti is not poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, poorest country, and we tired, we get it, so that we need to support these people right here, like SeeJeanty media, that are pushing a different narrative, so that when you tell people, "Hey, I'm from Haiti," they don't follow it with, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Like, oh, how are you? Do you have family from the earthquake? And it's like, lady, that happened.
All
That
the
happened
time.
a while ago. Like, you kind of don't want to give a roots response, but it's like, lady, how are you doing with the mass shooting that happened in Chicago last week?
Okay.
That's kind of how ignorant it is, right? So
Mhm.
I want people to leave this conversation knowing that, like, look how Chris is a $35 contribution. It's really not that much, but it will go a long way. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Put your hand in something that's already going on right now so that we can make a better Haiti. So that next time somebody comes, you don't have to hear like T playing ensayo. There are people on the ground that are doing the work. Just buy on T man.
I want to keep this conversation going. I really do. But I know as a busy woman, you have a whole day ahead of you. What other ways for folks to get a hold of you or your business? Is you have an IG? What IG would you like to give?
You can have the I don't really post on my personal IG like that. I'm always on my business IG. So ecorenew_solutions on Instagram. I answer the DMs, or you can email me. I check my emails maybe like 50,000 times a day. info@ecorenewsolutions.com. You can write an email. You'll get a fast response if I'm available. But reach out if you have any questions. And like what Chris said, like I'm not in the business of having a monopoly, right? Like and I always say this, even if there were 50 companies, 50 more waste management companies in Haiti, the amount of trash that we are mismanaging, we would all be able to eat. So people, let's be actionable. Let's do stuff for Haiti for real, and not have a like I said the other day, like, we wait for a tragedy, we repost a GoFundMe link, we have these IG chats, IG lives or Clubhouse chats, and then everybody logs off and goes back to their plush way of living, and until the next tragedy, until the next tragedy. So let's support people who are pushing a different narrative in Haiti. Let's reimagine how we interact. And if you can't start something for yourself, support people who are on the ground that you think they're doing something dope. Go ahead and do it. Like, SeeJeanty, I know I'm pushing you a lot. I'm promoting you a lot.
I'll take it.
But like, I'm part of the private WhatsApp group, right? What's $20 to me? What's $20 to me? Because I just had sushi last night. I wanted to hire. I spent like $110 for just sushi and some drinks, right? Like, what's $20 out of my budget monthly, and it's auto pay to support SeeJeanty Media, to help his employees who are going to later help their families, who that's somebody's tuition to help push a different narrative. So again, like, we have people working on the ground. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Support people on the ground. There are people who are doing dope things. Let's make it happen, people. We're in 2020. No more excuses. You have a smartphone in your hand. You got to start correlating this right here and this right here so we can start making things shake, because nobody's going to come to save us. Don't blame USID. Don't blame the government. Don't blame United States. Don't blame what France did in 1500s, whatever year that was. We got to start. We got to start looking at ourselves in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. And guys, you see why Vanessa, also happy to have her on. Is she? Close your eyes and put a female voice as my tone. Is that not me? Vanessa, it's been a blast. I've enjoyed you being on. This certainly is going to go to some of my top interviews for sure. Thank you so much for being here today. And any final parting words?
Let's reimagine the way that we think of Haiti. Let's start transforming garbage to gold. And let's support people who are doing dope things. I want to say thank you again. Thank you so much to SeeJeanty Media for having me on, for letting me explain what I do. And I promise you, this year you are going to have the SeeJeanty Media exclusive through our OCAP. Not quite a bouquet, because I can't, but to the OCAP, you have the exclusive. You have the first exclusive, and I keep promising you that.
Before the end of the year, I have to do a Jacmel series and spend a week up there in Jacmel just to shoot content, and that's going to be certainly a part of the agenda to visit the facility.
Everybody heard the deal. Everybody heard it. I can't renege.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you so
Take
very
care.
much.
Have a great Saturday. Bye, my dear. Bye-bye. And that was Vanessa. Her email is down there, info eco renewals. Visit her website. Had her website posted. Visit her IG as well. She's doing incredible work. I was so happy to have her on when she agreed, because I knew she was going to bring the energy, bring the info, and bring the information. And again, it's hard not to be encouraged when you have the humble opportunity to meet people like her on a personal level, and of course the fact that I can bring those sort of people to you. I mean, I know of intellectuals who are like, I don't know anyone who's who's successful in Haiti. Like literally, I've heard intellectuals write, go to Haiti, start a business at your own peril. But yet, it's like, that person, lo and behold, had no assets that I knew of in Haiti, and at the first hiccup of issues in Haiti, up and left, and is now not in Haiti, right? Meanwhile, us, we're still here, we're still fighting, and they're still impacting, right? And I share that to say, it's easy to be on the sideline, where it's easy to throw criticisms and analyze, but it's about being in the field, and letting your work speak for itself, and having the impact actually happen, because that's the only way Haiti changes. It's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy, but it's being done, and you can do it too. So that's the show, guys. It's been absolute blast. 2.5 hours on the live. We like to take our time when we're up here. I just want to remind you guys that this is what SeeJeanty is about. We're about everything we talked about this episode. If you haven't subscribed, maybe it's your first time on the live, make sure to hit that big red button, subscribe, right? If it's your first time, you haven't ever shared a video, go through our content. We have 2.5, 3 years, 4 years of content now. You'll find something that interests you, something that's cool, something you haven't seen yet, and do share it with your folks, right? As a reminder, I'll drop some links here. We do have a book, 101 Ways to Make Money in Haiti, Lucrative Business Ideas, Insightful Success Stories, Interesting Business Opportunities for Visionary Entrepreneurs. Yes, it's a mouthful, but it needs to be said in that way. I just dropped the link, for you guys. Check that out, right? Of course, 100% of those proceeds goes to supporting SeeJeanty Media. Those who appreciated the energy and the ethos and the folks in the comments and how the whole interaction has gone thus far, do go ahead and check out, go to our Facebook group, SeeJeanty Action Group, and use that as a safe space to share imagery, share stories, share anecdotes, connect with other Haitians who are about that action, right? We do have that private WhatsApp group that Vanessa, if you enjoyed Vanessa, her personality, she's in that WhatsApp group 24/7, just like I am, right? And again, the private WhatsApp group is a Patreon. It's a way for folks to be able to help support SeeJeanty Media, in addition to connecting with incredible people doing incredible things. And maybe I expressed that in the past and you guys didn't believe me, but Vanessa is one of the people in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so I wasn't just I'm serious. We have some genuinely hyper productive people in that group, and at any point, anyone who's also trying to do things in Haiti, asking a question in there means you have the immediate support of everyone in there. Again, it's effectively a mastermind that we have going on in there. So do go ahead and join that, and I look forward to seeing you in there. And of course, can't end it without talking about hyperdistribution.com. We're bringing products by the container load in Haiti, from Haiti, and we're selling them in America. Do take a look at the website. There's a place that says where to buy. If you're in South Florida, you can pull up the list. You can see all the many different stores that are selling our products, and you can go and you can purchase those products at your convenience, and you can know that you're purchasing products directly out of Haiti, produced out of Haiti. You're providing jobs, capacity, and helping our country move forward to the 21st century by doing something simple, something as simple as just making your money impact and work. And we make it as easy as possible because we're literally everywhere now in South Florida. So there's going to be a store near you that you can purchase a made in Haiti product that hyper distribution has brought in to America. Okay, so that's a wrap, guys. Listen, there's still daily episodes being dropped on SeeJeanty Media. Make sure you have notifications on. And by the way, the episode that we watched together, if you haven't seen that by yourself yet, please go check it out. That episode. Let's see that episode. Let me try to find it. I'll put that link here, just so you guys can go check it out after the video is over. There you go. Just dropped it in there. So feel free and go check that out afterwards. Watch it at your leisure. And of course, we just dropped a recent episode of FUBAR. Let's take a look at that too. All right, guys, that's a wrap. I appreciate you. Thank you. You're the real MVP. Those who've been here for the entire 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you're the real MVP. It's easy for me to talk for 2.5 hours, but for someone to listen, that takes twice as much work because you have 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason, twice the amount of effort. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And we'll be back at it again. We're back at it again. Peace.